This week's DRM Not Included on F5 Live Refreshing Technology is proudly powered by Amazon Prime. We all know that you get free shipping on millions of products with Amazon Prime, but you get a whole lot more. Like free music with Amazon Prime Music, free TV, movies, and documentaries with Amazon Prime Video, free games, and a free Twitch subscription to support the content creator of your choice with Amazon Prime Gaming, plus a whole lot more. We've got links to all of these features and some of our favorites, plus a 30-day free trial, all by going to f5live.tv/prime. All right, so we were just talking about YouTube, among other things, and their content moderation policies. One of the things that is involved in moderation on YouTube is the strike system, or the copyright resolution, the DMCA system. There are a couple of ways. If you are a content owner and you find infringing content on YouTube, there are a couple of ways that you can interact with it. First, you can just ignore it. Second, you can send a 7-day warning where the offending channel has 7 days in which to respond and remove the content before it will be deleted for them, and a strike will be issued, or you can just issue a strike. In my experience, most people use the 7-day option because, you know, especially so in our case, we use the 7-day option when we have to issue copyright notices, which happens way more frequently than you might think. Because, you know, the people who are publishing it may not understand, they may not know, whatever. Let's say, you know, a guest from CES may not understand that they can't just download the video and re-upload it on their channel. So we offer, we do a 7-day notice. The videos either get removed and no strike happens, or they don't and they get struck. Sometimes, however, people are a little more on edge than that, and they issue a strike right off the bat. And that's what happened between Sony and the Museum of Classic Chicago TV. Now, we're not going to we won't get into the copyright issues just yet of what was happening, but this museum is trying to preserve old television, commercials, news segments, and occasionally TV episodes. In this case, from what I can tell, there were 7 Bewitched episodes from the 1960s. Don't know why these were chosen. Don't know any of that. Whatever. All I know is Sony is the rights holder, and they issued content strikes to the YouTube channel for the Museum of Classic Chicago TV. Now, here's the thing. Real hard to appeal a strike. Now, a strike can be revoked at any time, immediately or years later. You can go in and revoke a strike. But the important thing to know is at 3 strikes, just like baseball, you're out. 3 content strikes, 3 copyright strikes, and your channel is gone, and you're not allowed to have another one. It's a huge punishment. We've seen all kinds of channels go through content strikes, not necessarily copyright strikes, but also content strikes. 3, the channel's gone. They received 7 at once. Chief Curator Rick Klein tried to reach out to Sony, but, you know, behemoth that they are, getting a hold of the legal department was a challenge. They had already removed the offending content, but time was ticking down for when their channel was going to be removed. Fortunately, though, some news articles were published. Sony saw their name show up in Google Alerts, reached out to him, said, yeah, if the content's gone, we'll revoke the strike. And so the channel gets to stay. Interesting story. Made more interesting by the fact that what did he think was going to happen? right? It doesn't fall under fair use for several reasons, not the least of which is fair use does not cover an entire work. So I understand fair use. The whole goal of fair use is to kind of find a balance between, public good and private ownership. Got it. But this does not. I know a lot about fair use, and this doesn't fall under it at all. So what did he expect was going to happen? And it's not the first time he's gotten notices. All the rest have been 7-day notices. But so he knows what he's up against. I don't know. The whole thing is weird to me. I understand the idea of trying to preserve old television. That's great. There's all kinds of stuff that has been lost to time. Even stuff as recent as the 90s. The only reason that you can stream a show like Sliders is because somebody had it on VHS. Go stream right now. Go stream Sliders, and you'll see it's very clearly taken off of somebody's VHS.
Terrible.
Because apparently, I guess that show was just lost to time. The DVD's the same way. It's just a VHS copy. I don't know if it was, recorded at home or what, but it's not what was aired.
That's weird. That's weird.
So some stuff seems to have just been lost to time. I understand. Let's try and preserve it. Putting it on YouTube is not the way to do it.
Not Bewitched, though.
Certainly not the movie.
Well, the movie, nobody watched that.
Exactly.
I mean, but I'm talking about like those shows. I mean, they still air in reruns, or whatever. Mm-hmm. They still are. I bet I haven't looked into this, but I bet you could find Bewitched streaming or on Blu-ray. It was a pretty major show.
I bet it's on Nick at Night tonight. Chicago.
Probably. So that's a poor example of something that you'd have to preserve. And I don't know if there's any. Was Bewitched supposed to be taking place in Chicago? Even if it was, that's not really.
But
that's not really.
Why 7 episodes?
Now I want
everything about it is weird.
There's a lot of old television on. There's a lot of old television that's hanging around on YouTube, and probably is breaking somebody's copyright, and probably there's at least some of it may be so obscure that it really is hard to get.
Yeah.
Really is hard to come by, and others of it might not be that hard to come by, and you can still watch on YouTube. So there is, I think the thing here is he had a, I guess, well-known, reputable channel, or supposedly reputable channel.
Yeah, but a non-profit organization behind it and everything.
But there's a lot of YouTube channels that are set up that just have a ton of copyrighted material, and let's be fair here. Google is probably making hands over fist ad revenue on other people's copyrighted material every day, because people come on and there's songs. You can just listen to a whole song there. There's episodes of classic TV shows all the time. Old movies. Now, sometimes it's something that, wow, you would be hard pressed to find this content on streaming.
Yeah.
Or somewhere it's really obscure, and it might violate somebody's copyright, but it sure does some kind of public service.
Sure.
The other day, now maybe you can easily get this on. I didn't really look into it. The other day, I was trying to make a reference to something that happened in the show What's Happening, and
sure.
Are you familiar with What's Happening?
Of course.
Oh, not everyone's And so I looked up an episode of What's Happening, and they had the whole episode on somebody's YouTube channel.
Sure.
And I don't know how easy it is to get What's Happening, and I certainly wouldn't want to buy a whole box set of What's Happening for $100 to figure out what exactly happened in an episode that I saw like 40 years ago or something.
Right.
But, I was trying to make a point, which maybe in my coming article, about how there was an episode with the Doobie Brothers that tells us everything that we need to know about AI today. Because Rerun was convinced. Did you see this one? Rerun, it's on YouTube. Rerun was convinced that to go undercover to a Doobie Brothers concert and wear a tape recorder under his jacket and to tape it for some crook or something, and then he gets caught because the tape recorder, which is one of those terrible old tape recorders that a concert would sound awful on because it was one of those mono tape recorders, and falls out, and then the Doobie Brothers are like, "Aha, we caught you!" Right? And
yes,
my point, and I just wanted to make sure that actually happened as I remembered it, because I want to say that that like this is just like AI. Like, he's allowed training. Rerun is allowed to go to the concert, but he's not allowed to bring his machine learning, his tape with him, right? What a human is allowed to do and a machine are allowed to do are two different things.
Sure.
I don't know. That very special episode is what I think about when I think about AI and machine learning. Anyway.
Also fascinating.
But yes, they're on YouTube and you could watch it. And so there's a lot of stuff like that on YouTube that like is just kind of there. But
there's modern
this
stuff
is a nonprofit. Too. This is a nonprofit. They should know better.
Yep.
They should know better than this. I kind of can't blame. Like, yes, I get it. Sony was being a little extreme, but on the other hand, you have somebody who's really flagrantly violating their copyright, and maybe they want to make. I don't know if they've ever issued something to this person before, but they're probably thinking like, just this is pretty flagrant. We're not, they probably have to issue. They also probably have to issue dozens of these a week or hundreds of these a week or something.
So they use a content matching system, as most of the big companies do. So it wasn't technically issued directly by them. It was issued by a system, but they set the system to issue immediate strikes. So, and then didn't have any way to contact them. Like we have a way. Our strike, when we give a 7-day, it comes with my contact information. Because if there's an issue, I want to hear about it. Contact me, explain to me why this has happened, and we'll have a conversation. That's not at all what happened here. It was just, here's your strike, moving on. So, and that had to be set by them. I've been inside the content matching system that they use. And it's fully customizable. You can, put thresholds and all kinds of stuff. So, anyway, it's an interesting story because it's that weird line between preservation and copyright infringement. And like you said, it's not like you can't find Bewitched. I just checked. We can watch it this week. It's apparently airing on Logo this week. Interesting choice. An interesting choice, but whatever. I think it's a universal. I think Logo's a universal network. So they must have the rights to it. They're airing it wherever they're airing it. So it's not like it's disappearing anytime soon. It's airing this week. So, it's a weird choice kind of all around. So, but at least they did back up off of the strike and move to a more human response of revoking the strikes. Hello, YouTube. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of F5 Live Refreshing Technology. If you did, please subscribe to the channel down below, and of course hit the notification bell because we know that subscriptions don't mean much on YouTube anymore. If you've got topics that you'd like us to talk about in the future, please comment them down below. And if you'd like to not follow us on YouTube, there's lots of ways that you can follow along with our content by going to plughitslive.com/subscribe. There you'll see all of our shows and all of the ways that you can watch, listen, and follow along.